Alexandra Levine welcomes you to the Alexandra Levine Live Podcast. Today, we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of her upcoming episodes. If you like what Alexandra talks about, then please share the Alexandra Levine Live to others. Alexandra also looks forward to your comments during this episode. Tonight's Alexandra Levine Live Podcast starts now.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. This is our first breaking news. So everybody, to police officers, to the police community, we say National Night Out. Thank you to our officers. Thank you to our firefighters, our first responders. This is an annual community building campaign. It's held on the first Tuesday of August that promotes police community partnerships, neighborhood camaraderie, and safer living environments. This event is happening right now as we speak. I can tell you, Republican nominee for Baltimore County District 9, Tim Fazenmaker, he's in Water's Edge right now with the police community and many others that are running for office in highly policed communities. I thank our officers. I thank our firefighters, our first responders for doing everything they can to keep our neighborhoods safe. If you are an elected official or running for office and you're not there tonight, that speaks volumes. Remember the defunding the police movement? Well, let's see if those same politicians like Mayor of Baltimore City, Brandon Scott, and Governor Wes Moore, let's see if they are helping out with the police, and let's see if they are out tonight, National Night Out. But this is a very important night. I hope everybody is there. Again, thank you to our police community. And of course, tonight is election night, Tuesday, primaries. We had primaries happening in Virginia where the polls closed at 7 p.m. Some results have already come through. We are waiting now at 8 p.m. The polls have closed in the state of Michigan, where we are waiting to see if we have an Islamic jihadist as the Democrat nominee for senator in the state of Michigan. His name is, remember this name, Abdul El-Sayed. Abdul El-Sayed. A horrible, horrible person, anti-Semite, supporter of Hamas, Islamic jihadist. Is he going to win against Haley Stevens? Haley Stevens is a progressive Democrat. She claims she supports Israel. She claims she loves the Jewish people. I feel, in my opinion, that's a facade. But I'm telling you, this Abdullah Sayed is a very dangerous man. And in my opinion, I think he will win the Democratic primary. It is up to the people of Michigan if they will vote for him or against him. Mike Rogers, he ran unopposed. He is the Republican nominee for the Senate, and he had the opportunity to win it last time. Let's see if the voters in Michigan can wake up and put the right person in office and not an Abdul El-Sayed, frickin' Islamist, in the Senate, the Senate, in the United States Senate in the state of Michigan. Another race that we're looking at very closely in the state of Michigan is the governor's race. John James, the congressman, is running for governor against Perry Johnson. There's been some last minute polling about Perry Johnson's numbers coming up a little bit. John James is the favorite. President Trump endorsed John James yesterday. I know John James. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. He's a very well-to-do guy. But Perry Johnson is very wealthy, and he put a lot of money into this race, so we'll have to see. Also, we have to look at the Democrat. I believe that Jocelyn Benson will win that primary. She is the current Secretary of State in Michigan. So it may be John James versus her or Perry Johnson versus her. We'll see. But we are looking very closely at those two races. It's very important who your governor is. And right now, as we see, it's very important who your United States Senator is. My God, if the state of Michigan puts in an Abdul El-Sayed, it is going to be really, really bad. Polls have just closed. The numbers are coming out right now. Mr. Sayed has a commanding lead, but it's only 0.5% expected. Estimated remaining is 1,438,000 votes, because it's the entire state of Michigan. It also depends where the votes are coming from. You can go on NBCnews.com, which is what I'm on. My producer's on another website. He's looking at Michigan local politics website about the election results right now. So far, with only 0.5%, Mr. Sayed is up 55.4% against Haley Stevens, 39.1%. Again, that's only that's only 0.5%. We have to see where the votes are coming from, where Mr. Syed will pick up ground, and they may call him right away if they look at where the votes are coming from. But again, we have to really, 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 guys, really look hard at Mr. Syed, and really, I mean, the vetting of the candidates is very important, guys. It's really important who we put in as our United States Senator, as our congressman, as our governor, and so forth. It's really disgusting if we have Islamic jihadists. So right now the votes are coming from Kent County. He's picking up ground over there. And then when more votes come in throughout the evening, we will bring that to everyone's attention. Let's take a look at the governor's race. Okay, numbers are coming in right now. John James is up 49.2% against Perry Johnson, 30.4%. Again, that's only 0.2% expected votes. As I said, Jocelyn Benson will take it. I mean, she's got 92.6% just in half a county, existing right now. We'll have to see what happens, but she's taken a commanding lead. As I said, she is the current Secretary of State of Michigan. She is picked to win, but we really hope that John James wins this primary and goes on to being the next governor of Michigan. But right now he's up at 49.2%. If we look at where the votes are coming from, like I said, I'm on NBCnews.com. You guys can go to any local state race to see what's happening and see where the votes are coming from. So right now, currently, those votes are coming from, just scroll all the way down. They're coming from, again, Kent County. So Kent County is the county that they're counting right now. 2.4% already in. John James has a commanding lead right now, but again, it's a very small percentage margin. So we'll have to see again where the votes are coming from, how many are coming from, if this is a hardcore, MAGA America First County. If it's more Rhino, we'll have to see. But again, John James is the congressman. He does have the leverage here. And like I said, President Trump did endorse him yesterday. As you know, President Trump's endorsements are very powerful. He's gotten tremendous wins from endorsing these candidates. So let's see what happens throughout the night. And again, we'll go back and forth throughout the night. Mr. Syed has picked up a little bit of ground. Again, only 0.5% in Kent County is at 54.4%. Ms. Stevens is at 39.9%. Again, this is the entire state. So, we're not going to find out results in 5 minutes. And again, we have to see where the votes are coming from, where Mr. Syed will pick up ground. And as you know, in Michigan, especially in Dearborn, Michigan, where Rashida Tlaib is the congresswoman, you're going to see a lot of Islamic votes, a lot of illegal Islamic votes come out from Mr. Syed. As you know, AOC endorsed him, Bernie Sanders endorsed him. These are the far left progressive socialists of the Democrat Party that are pushing these far left socialist a-holes into our government. As you know, we saw that with Graham Plattner, and they took a poll and they're like, oh my God, Graham Plattner against Susan Collins will lose. So they got rid of him, put another guy in there who apparently married his cousin and has kids with his second cousin. And he's, I think, been arrested for bank fraud and wire fraud. I mean, these are just great people that the Democrat Party is pushing in. Mr. Syed claims that he's a physician, yet there's been reports that he practices without a medical license. I mean, this guy is like a fraud, and he's a total Islamic jihadist, hates Jews, hates Christians. But if this is what the people of Michigan want to put in, if this is what the Democratic Party wants to push, I hope the American people are watching. I really hope the American people are watching this. And again, we'll keep you abreast of what's going on throughout the night. Let's go into segment 1, everybody. So segment 1, I call it surprise, surprise. So there's a few surprises. As you know, some people leave office and you see their true colors. Also, what's really disturbing and really disgusting is that, you think you know somebody and you really don't. And there's a lot of different stories going along across the board in regards to elections and what's going on. So the first one is very disturbing. It's from former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. As you know, she just got married to the Real America's Voice anchorman in Las Vegas. He gave up his White House press credentials for this woman. And also he's anti-Trump now because of her, because she's anti-Trump. So there's a picture, and I wasn't sure if this was real or not. I thought this was AI, but it's a picture of her in her little log cabin with her good friend, Thomas Massey, and his wife, Tucker Carlson, and of course, and his wife, and then of course her new husband. And that guy, Joe, who as you know, was a terrible person in the government. He went against the President of the United States. He actually divulged classified information to the media and to other people. He's disgusting. He actually worked under the former DNI director, Tulsi Gabbard. She fired him because he was insubordinate and he did not work for the will of the people. He worked for himself. So she writes, we said no more foreign wars, and we meant it, and supported Donald Trump because he made that promise, but he's betrayed us all. Our commitment is America first for all Americans, right, left, and center. The movement has become. So crazy former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks that, you know, herself and her husband with Thomas Massie and this guy Joe Kent, that all of a sudden they're going to start this new movement. They're going to be the centers of the Republican Party. What these people are doing is causing Republican seats to lose. And they want that. They want Republicans to lose, to say, look, see, Donald Trump, you couldn't secure a Republican House of Representatives. You couldn't secure a Republican Congress, you know, because you went against the will of the people. Nobody wants to give money to Israel. Nobody wants to give military to Israel. Nobody wants to help for our ally. We are the new faces of the Republican Party. Let me tell you something. The majority of the people, like 87% of Republicans, reject her, reject Thomas Massie, reject this whole mastermind that she's trying to do. The woman is a former congresswoman. She has no clout. She has no vote. She has no say. Neither does Thomas Massie. Tucker Carlson, he's not an elected official. And let me tell you something, when he got fired from Fox News, he lost a lot of money and a lot of clout. And him being now bought and paid for by the Qatari government and spewing out anti-Semitic rhetoric has actually hurt him and not helped him. And all these people that are sitting at that table are all anti-Semites. They hate Israel. They hate the Jews. They attack AIPAC. They attack any Jewish organization, any Jewish candidate or any Jewish elected official. And it's only a matter of time before they criticize Christians too. I mean, these people are disgusting human beings. They're going against the will of the president. They serve to the will of the president. They serve the will of their constituents. And it's disgusting that she goes this far and saying that the movement has begun. Question to my audience, do you support this piece of crap? Do you support her new movement? Do you support what she's trying to do? Do you support her, quote, accomplishment of this? I mean, the woman sold her $1 million home in Rome, Georgia, to go buy a $5 million home in Costa Rica. And she got out of office just in time for her to collect. She's also known for insider trading, which I'm glad that Congress passed a bill saying no more insider trading, because this woman was not a billionaire when she got into office. She might have been a millionaire, and she was a very successful businesswoman before she cheated on her husband and divorced him because she's a whore. But it baffles me. It just baffles my mind. Nobody calls her out for this. Nobody calls her out for going in one way and coming out a billionaire the next. That's how Nancy Pelosi made money too, insider trading. Same thing with Senator Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer. I mean, these people are not wealthy. Now, there are some congressmen and senators, like Congressman Vern Buchanan and my senator, U.S. Senator from Florida, Rick Scott, that went into the halls of Congress already being billionaires. They didn't need to be billionaires again. President Trump, for example, he's a billionaire guy, and he actually lost money being president. Didn't gain any more money. He lost money being president, but I mean, these guys are like real billionaires that went into office, took significant pay cuts, but not these people, not Thomas Massie, not Marjorie Taylor Greene. They got in there maybe being not even millionaires, and all of a sudden they're billionaires. It just baffles me. It really baffles me. But again, she has no authority. She's got no power. She's trying to be relevant in the world. I really don't care that she got married in Vegas. I don't care that she bought a $5 million home in Costa Rica, and neither should you. Neither should the American people. Again, stop making her relevant. She's irrelevant, and she's a detriment to our nation. And she should be tried for treason, in my opinion. And so should Mr. Massie. Next slide, please. So this one's interesting and rich. So this is by Nick Plum. So, Mr. Mandami, who ran on defunding the police, has illegals in New York, doesn't believe in photo ID, to vote in the state of New York. He wants to protect taxpayer-funded grocery store from non-NYC residents. Let me repeat that. Mandami wants to protect taxpayer-funded from non-New York City residents, ... They'll need an ID card to enter. You can't make this up. So he's concerned with non-NYC residents entering a taxpayer-funded grocery store, but he doesn't care about non-NYC residents voting in elections. Interesting. Very interesting. Hypocrite. Also, I remember to get into his campaign events, like when he was having campaign events at restaurants and such, his people required you to provide photo ID in order to go to his rallies. I guess they wanted to make sure you weren't a jihadist or a white supremacist or whatever. A photo ID to go to a public event, campaign event, but no photo ID to vote. It's okay for illegals to own businesses in New York. It's okay for illegals to go onto a bus in New York and work. But to go into a grocery store, you have to have a photo ID. Very interesting. Hypocritical. This guy should have never won the Democratic primary. This guy should never be the mayor of New York City. I don't pity the people that voted for him. You didn't do your homework. You didn't do your research. We told people, we told people, we told people. But it was too late. They waited until he won the Democrat primary. Oh, and then they said he was a jihadist. And then they said he was really, they questioned his American citizenship. They do wait after the fact. Republicans wait after the fact. Democrats don't really care. But if the Republicans really wanted to make sure that this guy didn't get in, they should have campaigned so hard to make sure he didn't get in. But they didn't. And now look what New York has. They have a horrible mayor. He's actually worse than the mayor in Baltimore City. I thought the mayor in Baltimore City was bad, but this guy, oh my God. This guy's the cherry on the he's the icing on the cake with the cherry on top. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But like I said, I don't pity New Yorkers for having him in there. Don't pity him at all. You made your Betty lie in it. Sorry. You guys knew he was a jihadist. You guys knew he wasn't born in this country. And yet you still let him become the mayor of your city. And I hate to say it, the people of Michigan are going to allow an Islamic jihadist to be their next senator. If they don't rally hard for Mike Rogers, if the Republicans don't come out in drones for Mike Rogers, if Democrats don't vote for Mike Rogers, it's going to be a huge problem. Huge. Let's go to the next slide. So this is near and dear to my heart because it has to do with Florida, because I'm from the state of Florida. So Florida 22 voters. So this was one of the seats that was hardcore Democrat, and then with the redistricting and the gerrymandering that my governor did, and he did it legally, converted this district from D to red. So now this one, Belinda Kaiser, she just discovered she's MAGA. Funny timing. This is the same woman who ran as a Democrat, wrote checks to Hillary Clinton, funded Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and bankrolled the DNC. Now she wants a seat in Congress. Florida, don't buy the rebrand. Some things don't wash off. And because of the rebranding and the redistricting, Debbie Wasserman Schultz's seat is in jeopardy. So of course, why wouldn't they put a rhino in there? Someone who supports Debbie Wasserman Schultz, someone who wrote checks to Hillary Clinton, someone who ran as a Democrat. Again, do your research, guys. Do your research. These people are fake and phony. These people will lie to your face. They'll tell you, I never supported this person. I never did this. I never did that. And then when you call them out and show it in their face, then they get all ghost-faced. They don't know what to do. Don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. I just want to do a little flip to the Michigan Senate races. So I refreshed everything. So Mr. Syed, now it's 1.1% expected, so they still have many votes to go. He's holding strong at 55.1%. But again, this is only like two counties actually it's three counties now that they're counting. So when I go to NBC News, so Kent County, they were counting last time I told you guys. So yeah, so Kent, Kent County is where Abdullah is holding strong at 55.3%. The other counties, so Wayne County, 55.7% against 41.8%. So Mr. Syed is a growing weight there. Wexford, Miss Stevens is actually, she has a little slight lead in Wexford County. So that means that county is not as jihadist as others. Other breaking news, Shannon Taylor wins the Democratic primary for Virginia's 1st congressional district. Then the polls closed in Missouri, Kansas. We'll keep you abreast on that too. And Virginia is an interesting one because Virginia, the Republicans are trying to flip back their House because the Virginia House is now controlled by Democrats. So they're trying to flip it back to Republican. Hopefully they can because Miss Bamberger has been a horrible governor. They have a horrible lieutenant governor, horrible attorney general. And maybe the voters woke up and decided, hey, I'm tired of Democrat power. But we'll see. I know that there was a lot of election fraud, too, in the primary as well. There was reports that they were going to call in the DOJ to come in and take a look at the races to make sure there was no shenanigans. I don't have confirmation on that. I can tell you that the DOJ is primed and ready. This is under Harmony Dillon to go in on election day in November and really take a look at some of these states, some of these counties, make sure that it's free and fair. A lot of the states that had a lot of election integrity problems, like New Jersey, for example, Michigan, mostly like the liberal states, like Maryland, for example. So that'd be really cool to see DOJ at the polls on November 3rd, as well as ICE. I would love to see some ICE agents at a polling booth. That would be freaking awesome. I would pay a lot of money to see that. Going back to the governor's race in Michigan, again, they're still in Kent County, counting. They're in a few counties right now. Still, counting away. John James is holding up a good lead at 47.8% against Perry Johnson at 32.2%. But again, you always have to look at the counties and where they're coming from. So Alger County, John James has taken a significant lead. In Alger County, let's see the others. Wexford County, John James it's tied between him and Perry Johnson. Wayne County, John James has taken a slight lead there, 48.2%. So if John James keeps up the leads in some of these counties, that will help him. Yeah, and Kent is like very like for Republicans. For the Republicans, it's very like hardcore MAGA country over there. And also, it's interesting to see the turnout. It's going to be interesting to see how many Republicans turned out for these primaries, how many Democrats turned out for the primaries. I can tell you in Maryland, when I was there for early voting, as well as on election day for the primary, they had the lowest Republican turnout, actually the lowest turnout for Republicans and Democrats in the history of the entire primary. Like they told me this was the lowest turnout they ever had in the history of the primaries. Lower than 4 years ago, which I was shocked because I thought 4 years ago was pretty low. So election day, November 3rd, has to be booming. Republicans need to come out, especially in hardcore conservative areas. We need high Republican turnout. You cannot sit out Republicans. You can't just be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, jihadist is the nominee. Yep, they're pumping the DNC and everyone's pumping a lot of money. So we're just going to sit back and, just let the jihadists take over. No, you need to stand up and fight. You need to stand up for your candidate, for your man, so to speak, or woman. You need to fight. You can't just allow this to happen. You can't just allow a jihadist to enter your state or your county or district. You need to exercise your right to vote. I know a lot of people don't feel that the elections are even secure because of all this fraud that's coming out. But they've been doing fraud in elections for many years. Now, some states are better at it than others. Some states are, better at cutting back on the fraud, or I should say calling out the fraud, more so than others. Obviously, the liberal states, there's going to be more fraudulent things happening there, especially in liberal counties, And then when you have states that do early voting for 45 days, it's crazy. Or you have states that count mail-in ballots after election day. Yeah, that's where a lot of fraud is going to come through. That's why you need to pass the Save America Act. That's why the president is pushing so hard. And John Thune finally came out today and said, yeah, we're going to try everything we can to pass it. He's the one that's stalling it. He's the one that's the problem. And he's doing it on purpose, to hurt Donald Trump. He's doing it on purpose to help the rhinos and to help the Democrats. So let's go into the next slide. So this is actually this was a a district and local state story that became national attention recently. So I know Congressman Max Miller. I know him very well. I met him on Capitol Hill, and I'll be going to an event with him next week, and I'll tell you why. So this is Emily Moreno. Emily Moreno is the eldest daughter of Senator of Ohio, the baby senator, the newest senator, Bernie Moreno. Now, Mr. Max Miller and Mrs. Moreno were married for 2 years. They married in August of 2022. They got divorced exactly August of 2024, so exactly 2 years. They have a 2-year-old daughter, and Max Miller is Jewish. Miss Emily Moreno was not born Jewish, but she converted to Judaism to marry Mr. Miller. Does she practice Judaism? That I don't know. I know Max's family does. Max comes from a very well-to-do Jewish family. Mr. Miller has been a congressman for several years. He lives in a very hardcore Republican district. Strongsville is actually a very hardcore Republican district in the state of Ohio. I know the Strongsville GOP people very well. The district, it's Republican and it leans Republican. But what is terrifying to me about what's going on with this situation is in my opinion, they're taking someone who is the incumbent, who lives in a very strong Republican area. And what Emily Moreno is doing with Stephanie Grisham and some other people is they're actually pushing a guy who does for his constituents, who does for the people of Strongsville, who does for the Republican Party of Ohio. And they're actually trying to hurt the man, not only financially, but hurt him politically. And they're trying to push President Trump to say something. It got to the point where Senator Bernie Moreno came out on Sunday morning and said something against his ex-son-in-law because of the pressure of that woman over there and the pressure of probably Mr. Moreno's donors and so forth. Because Mr. Moreno was going to stay out of it. He was not going to allow this to be a public display. And in my opinion, he should have kept it that way. He should have kept his mouth shut, and he shouldn't have said anything. And in my opinion, he made it worse. Now, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. According to Mrs. Moreno, her husband has abused her. He threw hot boiling water on her. And she even accused him of hurting and breaking the collarbone of their 2-year-old daughter. Now, those are pictures of her. Apparently, she's got some bruises there, which in my opinion don't look like bruises. Looks like birthmarks, in my opinion, or self-inflicted bruises. That doesn't look like a boiling burn mark on her body. It looks like a red rash, because I get rashes. And honestly, if she had hot boiling water poured on her body, let me tell you something, the skin would be ripped to pieces. I know, because I have 2nd-degree burn on my chest from a hot sun, from sitting for hours for early voting. I actually scraped the skin and got a huge 2nd-degree burn to the point where my skin is scarred. Does that skin look scarred to you? No, not at all. Now, I don't want to, say she's a liar and this and that. But I'm asking my audience, does that look like a boiling burn mark to you on her body? Does that look like her skin is ripped off and that's 2nd to 3rd degree burn? Because she would have 3rd degree burn. Also, there'd be medical records of her going to a hospital or emergency room. She'd be considered a, quote, burn victim, which she's not. Also, all these allegations against Mr. Max Miller, they're just allegations. He wasn't found guilty. He wasn't charged. And now they want to bring up his record from, when he was a teenager, where he had some arrests, but they were just arrests. He was never charged. They were all dismissed. His record has been expunged from, I think he had a DUI or DWI. His ex-girlfriend is Stephanie Grisham, who was the former press secretary for the FLOTUS and worked as the White House press secretary for the POTUS for a very brief moment. That woman is a complete rhino. She turned on the FLOTUS and the POTUS to the point where she spoke at the DNC convention supporting Kamala Harris. That's Max Miller's ex-girlfriend. Max Miller's ex-girlfriend wrote a memorandum in 2023 defaming and slandering and libeling Mr. Max Miller to the point where he actually threw a defamation lawsuit against her. She tried to sue him back. There was no viable evidence. She dropped the lawsuit. Now, because Ms. Moreno is coming out with all of this stuff against her ex-husband. And this was stuff that was already said in court in August of 2024. Their divorce has been finalized since December of 2025. Now, because all of this is being exposed, Stephanie Grisham comes out and wants to throw another lawsuit against Max. Now, Emily Moreno was actually dating Max Miller in 2023 when Stephanie Grisham accused him of domestic abuse. So if this was all going on, why didn't Emily Moreno continue to date him and marry him? If this man put hot boiling water on her body, why did she stay married to him? And for the record, she did not divorce him. He divorced her. He filed divorce against her. Now, according to her, the night in question where he threw the boiling hot water on her, she was threatening to leave him. So she said he got mad and threw hot boiling water. According to him, he was just playing around with her. And he actually looked up what a burnt victim looks like and what the skin looks like when it's been heavily burned. I mean, she would have had a boil on her body, which she doesn't have. And the reason that all this is coming up is because they are in custody battles in regards to his daughter. He's got joint custody. And of course, the daughter's, Emily Moreno, is trying to get full custody. So she's throwing literally the kitchen sink. There's no reports that he actually broke his daughter's collarbone. Of course, Emily Moreno claims that he did. The doctor said it looked like somebody put their hands on the daughter, but they have nannies. Max Miller claims that could have been the nanny. Max said he would never hurt his daughter because if he did, guess what? Child Protective Services would have come and taken his daughter away from him, or he would have gone to jail. A lot of these things that they're accusing Max of, he could go to jail. Now, Max Miller is a big part of the House of Representatives. He's working with Anna Paulina Luna now to pass the Save America Act. That's one of the events that I'm going to next week, to see him and Anna Paulina Luna and what they're going to do to pass the Save America Act. And people are like, oh my God, you're supporting a wife beater. But the judge and the jury have not charged this man. He didn't go to jail for domestic abuse. She threw a restraining order on him recently. They claim that he attacked her attorney and her attorney's fiance in the courtroom and outside of the courtroom, which we haven't seen any video footage of that. Her attorney threw a restraining order against him. According to Stephanie Grisham, he attacked her. But didn't take him to jail. She threw a restraining order against him just recently, not while they were dating, not in 2023. That's why the timing of this is disgusting. The motive here is disgusting. Again, I don't like the fact that Senator Bernie Moreno came out and talked illy about Max. This is a personal matter between Max Miller and his daughter and Bernie Moreno's daughter. And everyone says, you got to believe the woman, you got to believe the woman. There are times where I do believe the woman. But I'm reading this and I'm looking at the timing of this. I see the vindictiveness of this. And I've worked with candidates that have been accused of things that they never did. And it has hurt them emotionally and physically and mentally. And if for some reason they tell Max to leave because they have until tomorrow to find someone else, or Max has to say, I'm done, I'm not running, which he has said he is going to continue and he's going to fight and he will win in November, which I believe he will. That means they're just feeding the Democrat. They're going to flip a seat that doesn't deserve to be flipped. Why would Emily do this? Why would she try to ruin her ex-husband's political career? And a lot of people already knew about some of these things 2 years ago, and nothing came of it. So why is she bringing it now to the table? Let's go to the next slide. So this is a picture of them when they were dating. I mean, she worked with him on his campaign. She went everywhere with him. Very adorable couple. But again, he filed divorce against her, not the other way around. That's why I think this is a total smear campaign against him. And I know women in politics that do this. Look at all the women that turned on President Trump. President Trump hired all these women like Omarosa, Stephanie Grisham, Kayleigh McEnany. They all turned on him. They all said vile things about him. They all lied about him. Stephanie Grisham is not a credible source, in my opinion, in regards when it comes to defamation, slander, and libel, because she defamed and slandered and libeled her former boss and her former and FLOTUS. FLOTUS was her boss. She worked under FLOTUS for like the first 3 years. And she completely turned on them. Actually, I would say for the first 5 or 6 years, she worked for them. And then let's go to the next slide. So last one is, this is the senator. So Max Miller, he went on his X account and gave a 20-minute interview stating, I can't, what my ex-wife is saying isn't true. She suffers from bipolarity. She's been accusing me of all these things. None of it ever happened. And according to Bernie Moreno, he didn't like the 20-minute video. He thought it hurt his daughter, and then he just slammed him. I think the pressure came from his daughter and his family, in my opinion. And look, divorce is messy. 60% of couples end in divorce. It's really sick and sad. 2 years that's not a lot. It's a very short marriage. I feel bad for their daughter. I heavily feel bad for their daughter. But I want you as the voters to decide. Do you think that this is legit? Do you think that Mr. Miller should step down? Or do you think that he should fight? Do you think that he's being completely sabotaged and defamed and demoralized and demasculatized by his ex-wife? Do those look like burn marks to you? Was there bruises on her body? I don't like the smell of this. I don't like the timing of this. Again, we've seen no medical records, no indication that she was burned or that she went to a burn specialist. And like I said, her skin would have been ripped off if he did that to her. And why would she stay if he did that to her? If I got hit by my husband or he threw hot boiling water on me, like I just threw hot boiling water and burned my skin off, it's called, you don't stay, you leave. Now, a lot of women are afraid to leave. A lot of women, when they marry men in big positions of power, they're afraid to leave. But I have no fear. I would have left. Obviously, wasn't as bad if she stuck around for it, or she stuck around to collect evidence to hurt him later, which I know a lot of women are malicious and would do. But I say to my audience and to the voters of Ohio, you have to really peel the onion and look at all the evidence before you make the conclusion and jump to the conclusion that he's just a bad guy. And I will be seeing him next week. I'm sure he'll address it. People will ask the hard questions, or they may just focus on the economy of Ohio and where he lives. But if I was him, I would address it in a way that puts him in a good light, not a bad light. But until I see actual real raw evidence of him really physically abusing her and him being charged by a judge and him going to jail, I will take his side until further notice. And if people don't like me for that, or if people think I'm crazy for taking his side, well, as I said, let the judge decide. That's just my opinion. Don't forget that we have FloryandPX.com. That is toxic heavy metals, full body detox, free radical support. That supplement will help you with everything: anxiety, PTSD, hemorrhoids, fertility, any type of issue that you have with your body or your skin. If you have autoimmune, I've lost weight from it. My face is much brighter from it, stronger. I have much better skin from it. I love this product. It's a great product. There's the QR code. There's a lot of discounts going on right now. So go to FloryandPX.com. Stay with us, guys. We have a great special guest coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
America's Pulse Network. Amplify your voice with the premier conservative podcast network. Are you a standard bearer for liberty, free markets, and traditional values? Stop fighting the algorithms alone. Join a powerhouse community of like-minded creators dedicated to uncensored truth and professional growth. Here is why to partner with us. Who are we looking for? Ready to scale your podcast? Then apply today to protect your voice and grow your audience.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to Alexandra Levine Live with the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with me tonight. We are live on YouTube, on Rumble, on Substack, Spotify, Twitter, Parler, TikTok, you name it, we're on it. Please go to americaspulsenetwork.com. You can watch us live. If you are interested in becoming a podcaster with us, please fill out the podcast application. We are starting out with the fall with a whole new setup and new podcasters. If you're interested in sponsoring our show, my show, any one of our shows, or the entire network, or even the Pulse, go to americaspulsenetwork.com, fill out the sponsorship form. We'd love to have you sponsor. Well, this is a story that's really near and dear to my heart. I met this nice lady at a voting booth on election day in Maryland. She's from Maryland, and she has a disabled child, wonderful girl named Lexi, 33 years of age. She had a huge interview on NBC Nightly News, but it didn't get the attention that she was looking forward to. And a lot of people were hoping that she would get more attention too. So this was actually part of that interview. NBC actually came to her home and filmed it. So this is about a 49-second clip. We're going to play just a little clip of that interview. Let's play it.
It says that our rights are given to us by our Creator, and government cannot take the rights away. We have right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And by putting us in an institution, the government is breaking the promise of those founding documents. And we're getting ready to celebrate our 250th anniversary. So that's something to think about.
That is such a compelling statement. And here we have with us Michelle Erick Flory and her wonderful daughter, Lexi. So Michelle and Lexi, hi, how are you? Thanks for joining us. So Michelle and Lexi, we'll go to Michelle first. Tell us a little bit about that day. Tell us a little bit about that clip and what that clip was talking about. And, you know, what are you guys trying to accomplish with that interview? And also, what is your plans to help other parents that have disabled children? We'll go to you first, Michelle.
Well, it was a grueling day. It was about 12 hours of filming to get like a 3-minute segment. And I realized that not everything that we talked about was going to be on the interview. But a lot of the important things were left out. And the state of Maryland is severely cutting services to people on DDA, which is the self-direction program. They're cutting family as staff. They are cutting us down by $10 an hour. They're saying that we can't work more than 60 hours total for the whole week for all family members. And a lot of us, I used to be a real estate agent before, staying home full time with my daughter. And, I couldn't get out and work all the time because the aides would need something at home, or Lexi would have an issue where, I needed to be there. And so the decision was made that I would stay home with Lexi, along with the other aides that we have hired. And the state has just villainized parents. I mean, they're saying we're lazy. They roll their eyes at us when we go and speak in front of the legislature. And I just don't, and they say that we're scamming people. I'm like, come to my house at any time and see what we go through on a daily basis. Lexi's not she's very intelligent, and she's in seminary right now, and and she can speak for herself, but she's got a lot of physical needs. And when her physical needs aren't met, she will be left in bed to soil herself. She won't be able to get out to eat. She won't be able to go to school. She won't be able to go to church where she sings in the choir and teaches Sunday school. They're taking away her livelihood, and and for them to just say because it's budget cuts and the federal government's taking it away, that's simply not true. Because Fox 45 did a whole piece on it saying that the numbers were fudged, but yet they put all those millions of dollars into the Preakness, and we don't even have the standing of the Preakness anymore. We're not even in the top 3 now. I mean, why would you put all your money there and not invest in people with disabilities who need it the most?
I agree 100%. I turn to you on that, Lexi. Tell me about, what you're going through, and tell the audience about how, you're upset about what the state is trying to do.
Yeah, my aides are very much like part of my family, and I don't know what I would do without them every single day. I mean, they help me to live my life, and if these services get cut, they're gonna have to find other jobs because they can't stay without getting paid. As much as they adore me and love me, they wouldn't be able to stay.
That's true. That's 100% true.
This is the third year that Westmore has cut their pay. They went from $37, which is $37 an hour, which is under what agencies pay for private care, to $32.18, and they stayed for the pay cut but got part-time jobs other than Lexi, and now they're taking them down to $30. Where can you go in any other business in America that is acceptable by the Equal Opportunity Employment?
And if you want good aid, you have to pay them. If you pay less, you end up getting people that really don't want to be here. And trust me, we've been through a lot.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you, because I know a lot of the aides sometimes, the $15 an hour ones are very different than the $25 an hour ones. It's like day and night. And the thing is, you want good quality care, especially Michelle, you want good quality care for your child. And a $15 an hour aid, this is very different than a $25, $30 an hour aid. And
a $25 aid is significantly different from a $35 aid.
Oh, it's getting that high. Well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's their private agencies are paying them almost $50 an hour. Right. And so they can go anywhere else, but they love Lex, but they can't stay long term if 3 cuts in 3 years is, and a lot of it's being touted by, they're saying the federal government is the reason why that the cuts are coming. They're not paying as much, and, reimbursements. And that's not true. We know that's not true, because this started way before President Trump was elected. When Westmore first came in office, he started. But then when he saw the backlash of all the people with disabilities coming to Annapolis and protesting, that some of those were voters, he postponed it. Now he's not feeling the backlash because he's getting a lot of momentum, because he's going to be running for president, I'm sure, which we hope not. We're praying for Dan Cox to beat him. But we need a strong statement coming out from President Trump. I think he should meet with us. I've sent emails and I've sent letters or Facebook posts saying you need to meet with us, because if you have RFK Jr. coming out saying that parents are lazy and parents can't be trusted to do care and not scam the government, and then you got Westmore saying that, then people are going to think that that's all we do is sit around all day and watch our children stay in bed. we need a strong statement coming out from President Trump that he is not the reason why people with developmental disabilities, especially significant disabilities, are going to be taken care of. Their services are not going to be cut, and they're not going to cut the AIDS pay and make it harder and harder for them to keep their services. They cut Lexi's overnight hours by 8 hours a night, saying that she wasn't as needy for them, but she had qualified for the last 5 years. They're trying to save money and making people appeal, hoping that people won't
Exactly.
appeal.
And as you know, federal overrides state, and Westmore knows this too. And the more people like yourself and others come out, and just, override the governor on this and go straight to the top, go straight to the federal government, in my opinion, that will make huge noise. It really will. Have you thought about even taking this all the way to the Supreme Court?
Well, we can't find any lawyers who will take this case, even the ACLU, to take it far enough to finally get our rights solidified. Family rights as well, not just the participant, family rights. And there's a lot of chatter that on Capitol Hill that they're going to do away with the opinion of the Olmstead opinion. And that's horrible. I mean, people with disabilities should be
in the community, in their homes, with people who genuinely care about them, not in institutions. We're people, not objects. Like, we're United States citizens as well. Our Constitution says we're entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, like I said in that clip, and our rights are given to us by our Creator. So why isn't that being honored?
I agree with you 100%, 100%. And I know one of the biggest things that President Trump wants to do, he wants to open up mental institutions for people that really need mental help, because there are a lot of crazies out there that really need to be in institutions. But when it comes to people such as yourself, you should not be worried that you're going to an institution or that your aides are going to be pulled away from you to help the crazies that are in these institutions. And that's what,
Right.
President.
But there needs to be a significant, though, distinction about mental health institutions. We can't go back to Rosewood. We can't go back to the asylums that they had. And that's what is scaring everybody. It's the language being used by both Capitol Hill and the state. The language needs to be more friendly and to lay out exactly what that looks like.
Yeah, because as you know, President Trump, he dismantled the Department of Education and piggybacked it more to HHS, and that's RFK
Right.
Jr. And RFK Jr. has said, things about certain things cause autism and so forth and so forth, so on. And you commented about how the COVID-19 vaccines affected a lot of pregnant women, a lot of kids as well.
Right.
But when it comes to actual families like yourself, you have a child with a disability. I think, in my opinion, what we talked about earlier is you want, RFK Jr. to say, like, look, there are real families out there that have children with disabilities and they really need help, and we need to keep our aides and they need to keep their aides. Is that correct?
Correct. And they need to be protected by pay raises, not pay decreases.
Correct.
Families who we do the same job, if not more, we should not be paid less because we are the parent or family of that child. We're doing the same service. We're going to lose so much money in our house this year, and I still can't get out and work. Aides take vacations, aides get sick, they're late, I can't go out and work, and so we may lose our home. I went to TikTok trying to, I went to TikTok trying to drum up a business there. It's the only business I can do at home right now while I'm taking care of my daughter and on the off times that she has her aides here. We may lose our home, we may lose our car. Huh?
So, what business is it that you're working on?
Well, on TikTok, we are hoping to shine the light on people with disabilities and their lives in the community and how valuable they are. And um, the problem is that, you got to throw in some fun videos in there too, to build your platform. And so, but my goal is to really work on disability awareness. 33 years into this, and I'm not a lazy parent. I've got my daughter through college. I went to college with her every day, writing her notes. I went to high school with her 3 times a day because they wouldn't take her to the bathroom or sit with her at lunch. I mean, I took my daughter everywhere when my husband was at work. We're not lazy, and we should not be, our pay shouldn't be taken away from us because they see us as family and we can work somewhere else. I couldn't even go work for another family who has a child with a disability because they say that we can't work over 60 hours total for the family across all of Medicaid. And so they want us out because just as they were pushing the parents out as staff, they were bringing in agencies. Right. They were getting all these nonprofit agencies are getting multi-million-dollar contracts. And a lot of them are supporting Westmore and lobbying for him.
That's very true.
Right.
Right. Go ahead. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, and that's what it all boils down to is lining the pockets. They can't get money from the double dipping of the Medicaid money they were doing in the last few years from COVID. They're going to double dip in a different way and get it through nonprofit money.
Yep. And as you know, Medicaid fraud and Medicare fraud is very big right now.
Yes.
Especially in your state. I know that Dr. Oz has been investigating all these liberal states that have had massive Medicaid and Medicare fraud. And I believe that Maryland is one of them. And I know the federal government gets to the bottom of that. That's why they're trying to, get Todd Blanche confirmed, because that's part of what he does as the attorney general, is he goes through and sees who's committing this fraud and he puts them in jail. One thing I want to get your perspective on is, as you know, in Annapolis, they're having a special session now. They started yesterday and going into the 5th about removing the only Republican congressional district.
Yeah.
Why is Annapolis focusing on a national issue? Shouldn't they be focusing on your issue? Should they be focusing on state, local, and district issues? What do you think about that as a voter in Maryland?
I think it's shameful. I think it's absolutely shameful. Even what they've done to the Dundalk area, they didn't think it was enough that we all turned it red. They had to run the blue line all the way down through the Fort Howard.
Remember when they finally put cutouts so I could walk to the library?
Right. They're not even focused on doing cutouts on the streets. They're not focused on making things more accessible in the community. Our local guys are. Tim would do it in a heartbeat. Tim Faison-Baker would. But it's the people the majority that makes Tim not have a voice, right, in the council and stuff like that they're saying, oh, those issues they don't matter to us the most. The Towson area matters to us the most. To make sure they have the best library, to make sure they have the best schools. But yet in the Dundalk area, we generally don't get the newer things. We don't even have a handicap accessible playground for our kids to go to. Our kids, we don't come out in the community. There are so many people with disabilities in the Dundalk, Edgemere area. We don't come out. We don't do anything in the community. There's nothing for us. There's no accessible sports. There's no accessible playgrounds. We don't come out. We're trying to get a disability ministry started at our church, Inverness Presbyterian Church in Dundalk. We have 4 special education teachers that attend there. And then Lexi, she's a college graduate and seminary. And I worked with parents with special needs. We can have a booming disability ministry at our church and really put our needs on the map. And I just pray that, it's something that God will will our way.
Well, I appreciate everything that you do. I love that you're fighting for your child. I think it's a beautiful thing to see. I hope that more mothers like yourself come out. And I hope that all mothers that have children with disabilities, that they all rally together and donate to your foundation, donate to what you're doing, because it is an important cause. And I'm glad that you're talking about it. I'm glad that you are bringing awareness to this. Because like you said, a lot of people don't know, and we will keep pushing it. My network will keep pushing it. I will be saying this interview to Caroline Levitt at the White House, so they are aware. I can tell you the president is aware of this issue, but as you know, he's fighting Iran and trying to, win the midterms here. But these are issues that he is very strong about, and he does care about. I can tell you that firsthand. And
meeting with us is the first step, and if him or RFK or Dr. Oz doesn't meet with us in a closed session and just talk to us, they'll never know. They need to reach out, and so far no administration, state or capital, has done that.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the current elected officials in your area, because they have the power to facilitate those meetings. And like you said, if they cared about it, it would have been brought to the administration a lot further. That's why we got to get Mr. Fazenbaker in there, because he and I will be working hard with the federal government, with Trump, to bring a lot of these things, these issues on the federal level, including, like you said, preserving Fort Howard, which should be a federal national memorial landmark for the people, because homelessness is a big issue in the Dundalk area and in the Maryland area, as well as people with disabilities, and our homeless veterans. A lot of them have disabilities as well.
Remind President Trump, in the sense he came to Dundalk, and we promoted him, we voted him, we met him at the diner, right? And we're MAGA country here in Dundalk, Edgemere, and Fort Howard, and
we really are.
And we would just love the opportunity to say, hey, we really supported you, and we just need you to do clarifications and meet with us.
I agree. And I agree with you. We need to get the governor out of there, because your governor is awful, and he's caused so much havoc and so much turmoil for your state. That's why, unfortunately, a lot of people are leaving your state, and it may come to the point, Michelle, where you may have to leave the state and go somewhere else where it's affordable, but be a more Republican state like West Virginia, that cares more about you and your daughter, and will put you in your daughter.
But you see, we can't, though, because when you go to another state, you start all over with your disability services. You go back on a 10-year waiting list.
Oh my God. Well, oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
We are trapped here. We can't leave Maryland. We cannot leave Maryland, because it will take almost 10 to 20 years before Lexi get any services.
Wow. Well, Westmore, I hope you're listening, and I hope everybody else is listening, because this is a serious issue. And I feel so bad, but you have God on your side. I know you do. You're a great mom, great family. I met you guys. I met your whole family. I'm glad I'm meeting Lexi. And Lexi, you are a very intelligent woman. You are a very intelligent woman, and you have a big, bright future. You really do. And you guys get the final word. Anything you want to say?
It's been great talking to you and bringing awareness to this issue, and I really hope it helps.
And I'd say, please come out to Inverness Presbyterian Church. We invite all people with disabilities, and so we don't lose our house. Please, support me on TikTok. It's the only way that we can save if I can't work outside the home.
Yeah, and that's the TikTok right there. That's the QR code, TikTok at ShellF0969. Everybody, please click on the QR code. I'll be giving a donation tonight after this, and I will encourage everybody else to give a donation as well. A little goes a long way, but the more you donate, the more you can help this woman and her family. We really appreciate having you on, and you are welcome to come on my show and our network at any time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye. And before we go on our break, don't forget to go to rncstore.com/ALL. Toxic heavy metal, or sorry, wrong sponsors on my brain. Richardson Nutritional Center, this helps people with disabilities. This helps people with PTSD, with any traumatic brain injury. Also, it helps people with autoimmune diseases, people with cancer, either first to fourth stage cancer, if you have pancreatic cancer, if you have breast cancer. These supplements work. I can tell you firsthand. I have two uncles that have stage 4 cancer, one pancreatic, one stomach cancer. They've been using these supplements. It has reduced their cancer significantly. And I have friends that have breast cancer that have used Mr. Richardson supplements, and they've worked phenomenally. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. That is the QR code directly to get your 10% off discount. If you don't put in ALL, you do not get the discount. Of course, the more you spend, the more money you get off. But please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. Click on the QR code today. Go on the QR code and make your, I almost said make your donation. I guess donate to the Richardson Nutritional Center cause. Stay with us, guys. We'll be right back after the break. We are live on America's Pulse Network. We are live on Rumble, on YouTube, on TikTok, on True Social, on Substack, Spotify. Go to our website, americaspulse.com. You can watch us live. Stay with us, guys. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
So, hey guys, thanks for sticking with us. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We are in special election mode right now. I'm going to refresh. I'm on NBCnews.com. My producer's on a different website. So as I said, the declared winner for the Michigan primary for governor is Jocelyn Benson. As I said, she's currently the Secretary of State. We are still looking into at side. It's still too early to call. John James does have a significant lead right now with 10.9% expected of the votes. He's at 51.5%. Perry Johnson, oh my God, is at 35.5%. Incumbent Wesley Bell wins the Democratic primary for Missouri's 1st Congressional District. Adam Hamilton wins the Democratic Senate primary in Kansas. And that's just some breaking election news. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Ty Masterson wins the Republican primary for Kansas governor. So that's going to be big. We are hoping to flip that seat and turn it from Democrat to Republican because it's Kansas after all. Let's see what else we got. Let's go to that Senate race. So as you know, Mike Rogers won automatically as the Republican. It's still too early to call between Abdul El-Sayed and Haley Stevens. Abdul is at 52.6%. Haley Stevens is at 44.3%. New numbers just came in. Actually, Haley is gaining a little bit against the Islamic jihadists. And of course, we have a third party there, Mallory McMorey. She already has 3% of the vote. And they have 17.2% expected. So hopefully Ms. Stevens can pick up some ground here. We'll see. Like I said, Mr. Abdul got endorsements from Bernie Sanders, from Elizabeth Warren, from AOC. Again, you got to see where the votes are coming from. And you can also look at all the counties and see where they're coming from. Alger County, that's a significant stronghold right now for Mr. Syed. Haley Stevens is actually having a strong lead in Bay County, already with 1.9% in. She's got 54.2%. Abdel El-Sayed, he's winning Benzie County right now. He's got a strong lead in Case County. He's got a strong lead in Chalavu County. Delta County, Haley has a slight lead over him. Eden County, Abdul has a lead over Haley Stevens. He's at 52.9. She's at 42. Emmett County, he's got a significant lead in 69%. Grand Traverse County, he's got a significant lead right now. But again, it's still too close to call. There's only 1.9% of the votes being counted. So you can see they're being counted very slowly. There's always reasons why a lot of these counties get counted slowly. Because remember, that's where mail-in ballots come in and cheating comes in. Iosco County, Haley Stevens has a significant lead. Kalkaska County, Abdul has a little bit of a lead. He's at 51.3. Haley's at 45.4. Kent County, Abdul still has a significant lead. Livingston, Mr. Abdul has a little bit of a lead. He's at 58. Haley's at 39. Macomb County, Mr. Syed has a little bit of a lead. He's at 52.5. Haley's at 44. Let's see. And then Oakland County, Haley has a slight lead, just very slight lead. Sanaga County, Mr. Syed is at 59%. Haley's at 39. St. Joseph, they're pretty much tied. And that has 85.3% already in. 53% or 53% of Washtenaw, Al Sayed has a significant lead there. Wexford, Haley has a little, they're like pretty much tied. They're neck and neck. So again, you have to look county to county where the votes are coming from. So far, Mr. Syed is kind of winning amongst these counties. And that's scary. Again, it's scary to have an Islamic jihadist as the Democrat nominee. But this is where the Democrat Party is going towards, these progressive socialists, Hamas supporting, Hezbollah supporting Islamic jihadists. So, I mean, do I pray for the people of Michigan? I mean, Democrat Party really did a number on the people pushing this jihadist. Haley Stevens claims she's pro-Israel, even though she's like a progressive leftist. I think she tried to swing the other way to get more votes on her side by the Jewish community. I did beg the Jewish Democrats not to vote for the Syed guy. I beg the Jewish community not to, if he wins the primary, not to vote for him in the general. And a lot of Jewish Democrats have been voting Republican. We see that massively in general elections, especially in the presidential election 2024 because of October 7th. We cannot have jihadists in our government. I mean, especially in the federal government, but they creep in the local government and then they go up to the federal. I mean, once you get them in, you can't get them out. There's no term limits for these congressmen and women and senators. So please, guys, do the right thing. And if Syed does win the Democrat primary, please, for the love of God, make sure he doesn't get into the Senate, please. Because it's really scary, guys. It's really scary. My good friend Donald Willinger, he's on. He made some comments. One thing I agree with the Democrats on is blaming President Trump for all of our economic growth. Yes, the Democrats think those are grounds for impeachment. Then he wrote, the beauty of America is that everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That's very true. That is absolutely very true. So let's put up the first slide. So this is so funny. So this comes from this actor. I totally forgot his name, and I don't care because I don't want to give him credit. It's from the show The Reacher. And I mean, the guy completely hates President Trump, called him a pedophile, called him scum, compared him to Jeffrey Epstein, said he was friends with Epstein. So what did President Trump do? He took so the original meme was Dylan Mulvaney, who's a trans. Then he said that Caitlin Collins, who works for CNN, looked like Dylan Mulvaney, so he put her face on this. And now, because of this guy, Reacher, who's a freaking idiot, or not Reacher, the guy who's on the show, The Reacher, he's a freaking idiot, anti-Semite, and also completely attacks the president and calls him a pedophile and so forth. He just recently put his face as the face of Bud Light. So I think it's hilarious. You know, I mean, this guy's soft. This guy's a wuss. And I love that, you know, President Trump, he really taunts these people. I mean, and he can do it. He's the president of the United States. I mean, he's got the power to do this. And, you know, these people attack the president. They have TDS, which is actually a real diagnosis, Trump derangement syndrome. And the cure for it is you just turn the news off, or you move to another country, or denounce your legal citizenship of an American and become an illegal citizen, or get rid of your American citizenship, move to another country and become a citizen of another country and never vote here again. I mean, those are the cures, because President Trump is the president of the United States. He will be here for the next 2 years and hopefully beyond. But he's going to be here for the next 2 years, guys, and you're just going to have to tough it out. And if you have Trump derangement syndrome, there's a cure. It's called get the hell out of our country. Let's go to the next slide. So this again talks about the Iran war. The USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off my attack, and that the parameters of a deal has been agreed to. This would include the immediate corporate and total opening of the Hormuz Strait and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. Based on this request, I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. The country of Israel joins me in this commitment. Go to work, everybody, and get it done. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump. So a lot of people are pissed. They want President Trump to just knock them all out, just get rid of it all, and then get the hell out of there. But this is actually significant. I mean, President Trump is the deal maker. He's trying to make a deal. He doesn't want to continue going to battle, but he will if he has to. But he's also got midterms to win, and people are bitching that this war is going to hurt him and others in the midterms, especially the Republican Party. So he said it. USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military strength. And he said, despite this, we've just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack so that they can make a deal. Iran is weak right now. Iran knows that America and Israel and all these other Middle Eastern countries, Arab countries, can take them down in 5 seconds. Turkey has a very strong army. I mean, Turkey, they believe in a Palestinian state and they do support Palestine, but they know that if they have Islamic jihadists or Hamas in their country, it's going to ruin it. So Turkey is finally starting to get on board a little bit. Saudi Arabia is getting on board. Bahrain, Kuwait, they're all fighting and helping and supporting Israel. So if these Islamists, if the heads of the Ayatollah want to sit down and make a deal, President Trump's not going to attack them. See, what he's doing is he's attacking them so they're so weak and they're like, fine, the guy's going to continue attacking us. Fine, let's sit at the table. We don't want our country turning into rubble like it continues to. We don't want our people being killed like they continue to be killed. So this is an effort. As I said in my segment, it's called Effects and Efforts. This is a huge effort. This is something that the president is the only one that's tapped in 46 years. I give him credit for this. He's a big supporter of Israel, big supporter to our ally. Netanyahu just came to visit President Trump in D.C. He will be going to the UN and speaking in New York. Mandami can't arrest him, and anybody that does try to arrest him is disgusting. And we need to make peace in the Middle East. We need some, I don't want to say some type of an end, but we need some type of deal here to really stop this. And if the Ayatollahs don't want to make a deal, then we're just going to keep fighting them. But they know that they're weak right now. What President Trump has done with Israel has made Iran's military and Iran's people weak, the terrorists weak. And that's what people need to understand. The more that Trump keeps pounding them, it weakens them. And that's the truth. It is the truth. Let's go to the next slide. So this is an interesting one. So I was actually at the new Lincoln Memorial Pool, the reflecting pool. It connects from the Lincoln Memorial to the Washington Monument. It's a beautiful pool. And President Trump got it done right before July 4th. Remember, a liberal judge was trying to stop him from this. But there's been issues with the reflecting pool. People are saying that the parchment is coming off of the pool, that because it was done so fast, it wasn't put on properly. And then we see in the middle of the grass, it says 8647, which is FBI code terms to kill the president. And President Trump put a picture of it on his Truth Social showing the vandalism. I mean, President Trump said, this is clear vandalism. And it was taken to court. The guy who's 31 years old, he went to court. Judge Janine is the federal prosecutor in D.C. She decided to drop the charges. She saw other evidence that came out at the very last second that actually, in her mind, there, was shown to her, and it wasn't vandalism. It was a, quote, error in the contracting, or what they call a contractor deficiency instead of vandalism. So President Trump was really pissed, and he loves Judge Janine. That's his buddy. So he says, I disagree 100% with Judge Janine, the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, on the reflecting pool. I don't know what she was thinking. To me, it was a pure case of vandalism that included the grass, which had a big 8647 emblazoned in giant letters on it and other elements of the surrounding area. There may have been some contractor difficulty, but the major damage was caused by vandals. President Donald J. Trump. As you know, President Trump's a builder. He's a contractor. That's what he does. He built things from the ground up. He can tell if it's perfect, if it's not perfect, if it's been vandalized, if it's destroyed, if it's a contractor error. So in this category, I call it an effect. Effect, meaning that Judge Jeanine affected him, affected the outcome of this person that clearly put 8647. In my mind, this was vandalism. I actually support the president on this, but I'm not an attorney. But I saw the image of it. And did this affect Judge Jeanine poorly? Yes. A lot of people think that she was going to go with the president and go with what he said, but she got pressure from the other side. She got pressure from these contractors because the president really wanted this reflective pool done right before 4th of July, even though he got a lot of pushback for it. And a lot of people said, well, the president, he just slapped this together right away and wasn't contracted properly and yada, 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 yada. Of course, Judge Jeanine has to look at all aspects of the evidence. And keep in mind, she's dealing with a Democrat mayor and Democrats in D.C. So she made her best judgment as she could. But President Trump, of course, he's the president. He has a say here. He didn't like her ruling on it. He thought that she didn't do a good job here. And reports say that her job may be in jeopardy. I don't think it is. But there's a disagreement here. There's a discrepancy here. And I wouldn't be surprised if the president did call her call her on the phone and discuss it and see what they can do moving forward with this. But it's about Lady Justice at the end of the day. But I do favor President Trump on this because I did see the numbers. It's a clear, you don't put 8647 out of nowhere. There's a clear case of vandalism here. I don't think it was a contractor difficulty or contractor error. I disagree with that. I disagree with the assessment. And we'll see what the effect of this was for Judge Jeanine Pirro. Let's go to the next slide. So this is an effect. So as we know, legal loophole has Luigi Maggione supporters advocating for his acquittal. So remember, the Maggione family is a mob family, Italian mob. The family worked with D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is Nancy Pelosi's family. His great-great-great-grandfather, Mr. Nick Maggione, came to this country from Italy and got into the scrap metal business and then got into the mob and then worked with the D'Alessandro family, Nancy Pelosi's family, who were also in the mob. So this is mob money, Rob rule. If this guy gets acquitted for murdering the CEO of United Healthcare in cold blood in the early morning hours, God help us. And remember, the Democrats made this guy a hero. Oh, he saved healthcare by killing the head of the CEO. The head CEO of United Healthcare. United Healthcare, who refused people's policies and declined everybody and yada yada yada. He saved healthcare by killing this guy. Let me tell you something. Mob people, they don't care who you are. If you are commissioned to kill someone, you kill someone. And this guy, unfortunately, is not going to get the death penalty, which is disgusting because they offered the death penalty in New York. But we're dealing with New York. We're dealing with a New York liberal judge. We don't have a Rudy Giuliani who stopped the mob, who put the mob in jail for many years. We have a liberal judge and a liberal jury that's probably going to find this guy not guilty. And he'll probably be on the street soon because he's a big celebrity. And all the women want to date him. And people are making money off of him and shirts off of him, whatever. You put him in jail, they lose their revenue. So this is an effect of the justice system again. This is an effect on people that are born into mob rule. This is an effect on crazies. This is an effect on a young kid who literally ruined his life to do, not in my opinion, but I know this, to do a one-hit job because it was his first hit and didn't know what to do and became a scapegoat. And his cousin is running for Baltimore County Council. He's actually the current Baltimore County Council. He's running to secure his seat because he got in there just as like an intern or in the interim period, excuse me. He was appointed, he was not elected. And we'll see what happens. I know that Nino hasn't really talked much about Luigi, but when things are looking good for Luigi, then Nino kind of creeps his head up and he decides to go to political events and so forth. So if things are negative against Luigi, Nino doesn't want to answer any questions because he's got attorneys that tell him what to say and what not to say. So he hunkers down and keeps his mouth shut. So if things are looking good for Luigi, then things will look good for Nino. But this looks really bad, guys. I mean, if this guy gets off, what is going to be the effect of this country and for the justice system if he gets off? And that's my effects and efforts segment for tonight. As you know, we're all about campaigns on this show. We have a campaign with Michelle Flory, and we have Denver's Legacy, which is another campaign, which is actually coming up this Saturday, August 8th. Let's put up the flyer for that. There we go. So my good friend Carrie Mullins, her poor son died unexpectedly, very tragic accident. He was on a motorcycle and got hit by a big semi, and he died. And this happened in the Dundalk area. But his mom is doing a rally for him, and she has a foundation for him, and we support her 100%. But you got to go to this bull roast, guys. This is going to be huge. It's from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the Essex area in Maryland. That's in Baltimore County at Hawks Pleasure Club. $60 per ticket. You can do Cash App. You can do Venmo. There's other ways to give her money as well. But this is an important event. Tim Fazenmaker will be there. My good friend Kimberly Stansbury will be there, God willing, and many other people will be there to celebrate Denver's life. I never met the young man, but I mean, there's not one life he did not touch. And the way that his family talks about him and memorializes him is so beautiful. And we're working on getting a highway in his name for him, or possibly when Tim gets into office, not possibly, but we will do our darnest and push hard for a bill in Denver's name, so that this doesn't happen to any other children, because it's a tragedy what happened, and there's no repercussions and nothing's really happening. I mean, his poor mother has to deal, with her son's death every single day, and no repercussions happen to the guy that murdered him. So that's why it's very important, guys, to come to these events, to support people in need. These are real life stories. These are real people, like Michelle Flory with her daughter. That's a real story. Denver dying suddenly at a very young age. That's a real story too. Tammy Nobles' daughter being raped and killed by an illegal. That's a real story as well. These are real stories, guys. And we need to honor these people, respect these people, and give money to these people because they really deserve it. And of course, as you know, I'm a political consultant. I own my own political consulting firm. We are in campaign mode. And as you know, I do work for Mr. Fazenmaker, and he's got a huge event coming up this Thursday night in the Dundalk area, called a place called The Fountain. It's actually in Drug City. There's a beautiful room upstairs in Drug City. And we had a lot of business owners coming, a lot of candidates coming, a lot of local people. This is a big thank you to people that have voted for Tim, as well as people that helped him during his campaign. And also, Tim will give you a campaign update and a view of the future of his campaign and the future of Dundalk and the future of Maryland. We have our tagline called #Save Dundalk, #Save Edgemere, #Save Rosedale and Sparrows Point, and #Save Maryland, and #Save America. And that is our motto. That's what Tim is all about. As I said, he's working with the federal government behind the scenes. As the next county councilman, he will be working with the Trump administration to get things done for the people of Maryland, because they've had enough. And as Michelle said before, Tim lives in a very hardcore America First MAGA district, and they're trying to put another a lady who believes in just Black Lives Matter and giving, she has this group called #GivingBlack, and she's also a Black Muslim. There's pictures of her wearing a hijab. Her real last name is Jamaluddin, not Wade. She doesn't even go by her real last name. She took her father's last name to run. So her real name is Jamaluddin. I mean, she's an Islamist. And if you don't support that, and I know his area doesn't support that, you got to vote for Mr. Fazenmaker. He is the front runner right now. He is in the lead in all the polls. And I mean, the other incumbent county councilmen are getting together with him, and they're forming plans on the future. They're already thinking about the future because they know that Tim is going to win. But this is a seat that Westmore would like to flip, and we're not going to allow it. So please, guys, go to timfazenmaker.com, make a donation. That's a QR code to his website. You can also make a donation to his event on Thursday. If you can't make it on Thursday, you can still make a donation. You don't have to live in Maryland to make a donation to his campaign. You don't have to live in Baltimore County or anywhere in the district. I'm a Florida resident, and I give money to him. And I have friends from Ohio that are giving money to Tim. I mean, he's got a lot of money from outside the state, outside the county, outside the district. So please, guys, go to timfazenmaker.com, make a donation today. And then, of course, we have our good friend, Justin Murphy, who is the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate in New Jersey. He is going everywhere. I see him everywhere. He's been visiting all the different counties, Republican, Democrat counties, purple districts, you name it, he's been there. And we just love him to death. And you got to give him a donation because he's going up against a guy that's got like $2 million. The incumbent is crazy. So please, guys, go to that website, go to that QR code, give him some money today, give him a nice donation, and that'll be beautiful. And we would love to see him in the United States Senate. And then, of course, we have our friend David Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. He has been so busy. Jack Brangan is his campaign manager. Alana Barbara has been working on his social media. He is a Republican nominee for New Jersey District 1. This is a district we would like to flip Republican. And Damon Galdo can do it. He's got the party behind him. He's got the people behind him, his family, his wonderful family, Heather and his 2 beautiful children behind him. He's been campaigning hard with Justin. They've been working together in tandem. Also, guys, this Thursday, as I will be at Tim's event, there'll be Damon and Justin. They will be using my evening to upload and go live to campaign events that are happening. I think Damon Galdo has a campaign event that night, Thursday night. So you, instead of seeing me, you'll be seeing Damon Galdo in his campaign event. And again, we're keeping it flowing here. We're keeping the campaigns flowing here. Also, I'll keep you abreast on the 13th. Will be my producer will be involved with Justin Murphy in his town hall. That will be also live streamed, so you'll miss me on those 2 shows, and I'll remind you later on next week. But I mean, we're in campaign mode now, guys. Republicans got to get out and vote for your people. We need high Republican turnout at these elections. I don't want to hear that you guys, oh, I didn't know, or, oh, I'm just going to sit back. Oh, it's New Jersey. Oh, it's a liberal state. No, guys, you have to. You have to come out for these candidates. It's very, very important that you come out for these candidates. So again, don't forget Damon Galdo for Congress, Justin Murphy, Tim Fazenbaker. Damon Galdo is still doing his show periodically from 8 to 9 p.m. He does moderate the Pulse. He's actually going to be moderating the Pulse tomorrow night from 8 to 9:30. Sometimes we go till 10. But don't forget, we have the Pulse every Wednesday from 8 to 9:30. Sometimes you'll have me as a moderator. You'll have Damon, Seth Eisenberg. The Pulse is doing something different this time because we're in campaign mode. So you'll have different hosts. You may have 2 people on a show, 3 people on a show. Just depends on everybody's schedules, but that is a great show, and we need everybody there liking and subscribing that show. And of course, don't forget about New Jersey State Assembly show with Jack Brangan and Constance Ditzel. That's the 2nd to the 4th to the 5th Tuesday of the month. Then you have my show from the 1st to the 3rd, and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. And I've been going till 9:30 lately because there's so much news to cover. It's just insane, the news that we cover. And don't forget the Michigan results, guys. We probably won't see the final results till in a couple hours. I can tell you just before we leave, Mr. Abdul, he's got a solid lead still, 51.8%, but Haley Stevens, she's coming strong too. She's at 44.8%. So she's actually kind of reducing his lead a little bit. The third party candidate has 3.3%. So the independent is actually taking some votes away from Mr. Abdul. It's still too close to call. So hopefully, maybe Ms. Stevens can eke it out. We'll see. Governor's race in Michigan. John James is actually holding with a very strong lead. He's at 50.9% against Perry Johnson at 35.6%. Mike Collins is the third party person. He's at 12.3%. In a way, he's taking votes away from Perry Johnson. So that may help Mr. John James. We would love John James in the governorship. He'd be phenomenal. He's been endorsed by President Trump. So we really hope that John James pulls it out there. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks so much, guys. And the reason is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Alexandra, thanks you for watching tonight's Alexandra Levine Live podcast. See you at the next packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you like what the Alexandra talked about, then share the Alexandra Levine Live podcast with others. Alexandra also looks forward to seeing you on the next upcoming episode.